All right, let's bring in my international panel now. Sky News contributor Kosha Gada, past chair of the Parliament's Foreign Affairs and Defence Committee, Michael Danby, who joins us from Asia. I want to start, if we can, with these legal challenges. These were in relation to claims that Donald Trump had conspired to overturn the 2020 election and mishandling of classified documents. Both of these have been dropped. Michael, do you think this is the end of legal warfare against the president-elect?
I think it contributed to his victory, Peter. Assassinations, lawfare. People who don't have Trump derangement syndrome thought this was very unfair, and I think it is the end of his legal challenges. It's quite. I have to agree with MSNBC or CNN, who said it's quite an exciting, ideologically diverse cabinet. I'm actually interested to see what they all do. So I think all of this is behind us. It shows that in any democratic society, people do not appreciate Venezuela-type use of law against political opponents, and you should conduct political arguments through politics.
Yeah, there's some big brains, big personalities, lots of egos. I'm going to love this ringside seat we're all going to have after January 21. Some of the big policies he's already put on the table, these are, well, you know, he's not going to miss, is he, here, Kosha? He wants the military to carry out mass deportations of anyone who's in the country undocumented. There's even talk of an executive order that would see all transgender members of the US military medically discharged. What do you make of it all?
You know, he is developing his plans to execute on the mandate that he has been handed. He talked about all of these things. Of course, mass deportations was and remains his signature issue. He's going to be met with resistance every step of the way from judges, from the media, maybe even from the legislative branch. So buckle up, because it's not going to be smooth sailing. But public sentiment and support for it is at an all-time high when there are as high as 40 million potentially illegals in the country. So I do think that's going to be something he really pushes. I think also the DEI and all of that, anything that he can do just through executive order for departments that roll up into him will be technically a little bit easier. And I think his picks are people who support that. And then the third one really quickly that I would add is on the back of the lawfare. The DOJ and the incoming Attorney General, Pam Bondi, she has her work cut out for her actually to potentially investigate some of the roughshod that was run with this lawfare, because there are lots of norms and potential legalities that have been violated. And sweeping it under the rug, I don't think is going to cut it, because a lot of people want to make sure that this never happens again. And that's going to be another big part of his agenda also.
I want to go to the UK. We've been talking here about farmers speaking out against these inheritance taxes, or basically death taxes. They say it could threaten food security and the sector. But Michael, what's interesting here, there's been a petition. Now, under the UK parliamentary rules, if 100,000 people sign a petition, that petition has to be debated on the floor of the Commons. This is a petition that says you must call a general election, and it's got 2.5 million signatures. I don't think we've ever seen a government start so poorly, have we?
Never. I think charging older people on the edge of winter more for their heating is a sign of a Labor Party that's gone mad and lost its touch with reality. Now, this petition will result in nothing. They've got a huge majority of over 400. Doesn't force them to an election, but does get them a debate. And it confronts us all, Peter, with the issue of, is fixed terms for Parliament in the UK 5 years, in Victoria's case 4 years, a good thing, or would it be better to go back to the old system of more flexible terms?
Yeah, I'm not in love with fixed terms. I'm happy with a 4-year term. I think 3's too short. I think 5's too long, but I don't like fixed. Kosha Gada, what's interesting here, I mean, he's up against Kemi Badenoch, and at the dispatch box, she's pretty strong.
She is. You know, he hasn't come on top of the problem with the policies and everything else. His communication as well isn't exactly inspirational, and I think coming up against her, that's another deficit for him. And his approval rating has dropped 43 points from the high with which he came in. So he's swimming upstream, but for now, I think he's dodging the bullet a little bit with the petition not being enough to call an election, but he's not trending in the right direction.
Well, I'll just make a point to my viewers. We will be back on air from about the 13th of January. Certainly Peta Credlin will in the show. And that will be in plenty of time to have a good close look at the inauguration on the 20th. Thank you, Kosha. Thank you, Michael.